Why? You call her stupid. Who's stupid now?
Excuse me, Mr. Curio. He had never called me.
No, the flyer says. The flyer says stupid.
I'm pretty sure.
Here, Spank.
Oh, hold on. We have a flyer. Where does it say stupid? Where does it say stupid?
On the bottom.
Underline it.
They think you're stupid. Clearly it says this. They think you're stupid. I don't think I'm stupid. The flyer says I'm stupid. That's my 1%.
Yes, it does.
It might have been the work of the cameraman over there. That's the work of George over there. Put out the flyer.
You've been taking pictures of me all day, taking damn pictures. It says they think you're stupid. I read this, I look at it like, hold on, I'm not done. This guy interrupted. I think they're stupid. You want to take a picture?
Keep going, John.
It says we're stupid. Does anybody else want to see it? Because they're not answering my questions. They don't answer one question.
Curio, you're out of order.
I'm not out of order.
I'm going to ask you.
I want you my question answered. You have answered more questions since you've been in office. Not one. He answered and the other guy, but you might still he answered. When are you going to answer the question? I thought this was America. How are you going to limit us to 3 minutes when we're not concerned over something you put out on the flyer? You're the one that put it out. I didn't do this. Who did? Foley, Robson, Peterson, Penny. You didn't put it out. So you're saying this is against your will? Is that you can't answer my question? Because you don't have an answer. You don't have an answer for anything. Whatever we say, you will not have an answer. The mumble and jackass behind you might have an answer, but nobody else. Now my time is done because I'm finished. Not when you finish.
As far as the EIC is concerned, and I understand that we went through this before, but I need to know why you had a copy of the budget on December 5th. So you knew that that was already in this year's budget, so there was no way that you could do that. December 5th, you had a copy of the budget. So how can you go on saying to all these people that we're going to take it away, we're going to take it away, when you did damn right well that it's going to be on this budget this year. Now it's 2013. So you did have a copy of the budget, all right? Yeah, December 5th, you had a copy of
Last year.
Yeah.
I was in my position in November.
I understand that.
I didn't know what the budget was in November.
Excuse me?
I didn't know what the budget was in November. When I ran for election, I did not know what the budget was. It was all
You didn't come up here and you had a right to know what the budget was before you even went out and said you were doing it.
And I'm sorry I shouldn't.
A lot of things you didn't do.
Yes, first of all, I'd like to thank the police chief and all Folcroft police officers for taking care of the back driveway for when the school kids come home after school from fights.
Yes.
They have done a great job. Every day, making sure that these kids have just kept moving. So, thank you. Also, I want to thank you for taking care of the property next door to me. There has been people coming out, dealing with the situation. It's just, I guess it's just not moving as fast because they're not cleaning it out. They're just locking everything up, which is, at least a step to everything. And then that's really all I have to say.
Rob,
Take my picture. That's okay. Yeah, I'd like to second that. Thank you for securing the house next door to mine that's been abandoned for a while. So thanks for that. Also, I looked at the budget for our streets. I'm sure that everybody knows that we've had a light year of snow removal wise. I'm sure we have some money put aside for that. So I'd like to propose that there is extra money, $10,000, $2,000 miscellaneous. If we could work on getting the stop signs or the speed bumps on Carter Road. Maybe the excess money for motion.
Actually, we're working on the stop signs. I was talking to our engineer because it is a borough road. We do not have to go through PennDOT in order to put them up. So we'll just have to get together the highway, get footage of where they're supposed to be, and then order the stop signs.
Do you know when we'll be done with that engineering report? Would that be made public? Would I be able to see that, just to see where the location, so I can tell my neighbors what they're planning?
If Santarelli has anything to say about it, you won't.
Yeah, we're there for one. 4 to 6 weeks, is that fair to say?
He's saying probably by our next meeting, we should have all the information and be able to see.
Okay, thanks.
Art matters.
Go figure.
No comment? Okay. Colleen Calabro?
Yes, I have a question about the agenda. I went to the committee meeting the other night, last week, and I'm looking at the agenda now, and there's quite a few things on here. I don't understand the way you run the committee meeting, because to me, there was nothing discussed in it, except for maybe 2 of the things that are on here. Under the old business, you never discussed the salary rule.
That was actually from the prior meeting that Mr. McWigan put the table for this meeting.
It's still being discussed at committee, and that's how it has to be discussed at committee.
It's supposed to be tabled for committee meeting. That's when you have your discussion, not here with the public department. And that's my problem. I mean, all of these things, I wouldn't have known about a health inspector unless Marion brought it up last week. You're going to discuss health inspector, but if Marion didn't bring it up, we wouldn't have known that you already had that proposal maybe for perspective. That should be done in committee meeting, so they know what you're talking about. Now all of a sudden, you're going to discuss this out here, when this all should have been done in committee. You discussed to me nothing in committee. To me, that was a waste of time last week. You didn't use your time thoroughly, or the way it should be used. You're putting things on this agenda that should have been opened up for discussion today. I think things are slipping through the cracks because you don't know what you're doing about them. Linda does not know how the borough has been running for the last years, but she has not been involved in that position. And things are happening and not happening that should be happening. And I would really, once again, consider you giving up presidentship and putting it back on Mary Ann, who knows a senior person, who knows what's going on. So these things are not slipping. You took the borough manager out of her position, put Lynn in a position, and she has no clue what the hell is going on here. And you're trying to do it on your own, and the people that are advising you are not advising you properly. You didn't even close out the last meeting that we had here. It's still going on here. It was never adjourned. You never asked to close the meeting. You don't really know what you're doing. You banged it out. Well, you can ask for your counsel to close the meeting. That meeting's still going on here from the last time. You don't know the proper procedures. Give it a year. Give it back to Mary Ann so the business can go on as usual and things are not slipping through the cracks. Give yourself a year to know what's going on, because too many things are slipping through, and unfortunately, you're not being advised. You're not being advised the right way. They're not telling you the right things to do, and you're not even using your counsel. You should have had an open discussion about everything last week that your senior council members could have helped you with. But you're out there fighting on your own, trying to do it on your own, and the right people are not advising. They're not. Mr. Santarelli cannot answer a question when we ask him a question. We have questions that are still floating from the first meeting that have not been answered. I've never gotten a phone call for one question that I've asked. Nobody's gotten back to me. You make it seem like I'm a jackass down here talking up to you. And I'm not. And I'm really disappointed that I have not gotten one phone call. I agree with the sign-in sheet. I agree with the sign-in sheet. This way, if you need to get back to me, you have my phone number and address. But yet I still have not gotten a phone call for not one question or one concern that I have had. I have not even had one conversation with you, and yet I've thrown a lot of accusations at you. Linda had the decency to come and speak to me after one of the meetings, and we had a little discussion. But I really don't think that anyone is advising you properly, and this business in Folcroft is not being conducted properly. There's too many things that are slipping through the cracks. For God's sake, the fire engine bill, the fire, the grant's not being. Come on. That's unacceptable. That's unexcusable for this to be happening. And it's because you got rid of your borough manager too soon. If you looked at the books and you had a discussion with your other council, you would be sitting there with the problems that you're having right now. But I do believe in my heart that you need to step down as president, put Mary Ann back in, let business run as it should. Because too many things are slipping through the cracks. And it's because you don't know and you're not being advised properly. And it's just the way it is.
Yes, what I see here is a lot of sales. Unfortunately, when parties take all this, things are changed. You may not like it, you may not appreciate it, but that's the way business runs. It runs in corporate business, it runs in the government. I'm sure you are making mistakes. I'm sure they make mistakes. It's part of the growing process. But I think as a community, we should all come together and start working for the borough and stop all this stupid bickering and knock it off. And the Trucello thing, I am so sick of hearing it. I said, half of these people who are complaining about Trucello were in bed with Trucello. I think I may be one of the only residents in this borough who opened nothing. That's all I have to say. And that is the truth.
It's true, we were here.
Mr. Cavaleo, I will not tell you again, please.
Pardon me, Madam President.
He does not even live in Folcroft. Why is he speaking?
Please.
It's always
We got two wards, we only got one.
Mr. Spangler.
Trace.
Mr. Spore asked if our manager had his proper paperwork to film and take pictures here, you acted like you didn't know. And he's
No, I said, you know, he didn't fill out his paperwork.
So he was allowed to take pictures last week with no paperwork filled out.
He filled it out directly after the meeting when I found out he didn't.
So again, you didn't know what was going on. So your leadership, again, failed. Second, why does he continue to take pictures? He's trying to take pictures so everybody can hear what's going on. He's trying to intimidate by taking pictures of people talking. What is it? What is it? What I want to know, what these pictures are being used for? What are this being used for?
It's very distracting, I would say.
I'm not recording your voice.
I'm not recording your
What's
voice.
going on?
Just taking pictures of everyone. You have to stay still.
Okay, thank you.
And that's done yet.
That's 1 minute 8 seconds.
So what are they being used for? Where are they being posted so we can see this stuff?
My purpose. I'm doing this.
Enough, everybody.
already sandusted.
Does he have permission to take pictures and go off? That's the citizens.
Well, if you're gonna take pictures, don't face it this way. I don't want my face.
I'm sorry.
Exactly. You have to do it in
Now,
school, you
we are
have
at
to do
a
it.
public event.
Mr. Spangenberg has pure. I cannot hear him.
Let's have permission. Is it legal for him to do this?
Public meeting, I like to take pictures, just like
Okay, so even without my permission, it's a public meeting. Okay. I guess the next question is, when are you reviewing the 1% that you promised during your election?
It won't be this year.
Won't be next year either.
You know what, Mr. Steinberg, you approved putting $800,000 into the revenue of coming in on that earned income tax. There is no way this borough would function without that $800,000.
I understand that.
Therefore, this year,
You bring it on the budget that
EIT
you were going to
stays.
repeal
That's
it, and you
it.
said till the 15th to repeal it.
Yeah,
You can't
hey,
do nothing with it.
That's a new t-shirt. EIT stays and that's it.
You can change.
Next week's t-shirt.
So if you don't do it now, it's done.
Sorry, Sue, can I just ask one question to the chief? Chief, I understand like this whole picture thing is going on, but he's directing that camera to me, and my kids are here. Isn't that against the law without a parent's permission to have pictures of under 18?
I think his camera should be seized.
Just, the camera will be seized, public meeting, like the attorney said, he's allowed to take pictures. However, you can't take pictures of any children. That's not allowed.
So I appreciate, I'm sorry, but I appreciate if my children and any of them on here, can still be there.
There's none in there, you can check my camera.
Okay.
Anthony Wadsworth.
That would be this. I'm a little confused. As you can see, this is just a little bit of Folcroft. We are very passionate about our community. And it's not that we don't like you, but you're not coming off as likable people. Honestly, your tone keeps going up, you keep yelling at people. He looks like he can care less, he's writing all the time, and it looks like it doesn't really matter to him. But this is important to us. I've lived here since 1981. I like this community. I've raised 5 children here. And all of these people are moved in here because of the community. It's not that we don't want you to do a good job, but you have to understand that you're there because of us. You should be working for us, not getting attitudes for us. When we ask you questions, you should be finding the answers. If you can't, you should be finding out the contact. It's my understanding that after you were elected, you never even attended one of these meetings. Why? If you were elected and you were coming in maybe in January, you were elected in November, why didn't you come to the December meeting and see how it was run? You got rid of the borough manager, which was the biggest mistake that you ever could have made. She was there forever. You could have used her knowledge. You didn't have to get rid of her when you did. If you wanted to do it, you could have done it more ethically, and you would have pissed off a lot of people, not because we like Judy, just because of the way that it was done. And if that's the way you're doing things, we think that's the way you're going to do everything. She was here for so long, other than she knew her job, she knew her job. And there isn't anybody that knows the intricacies of the things that she did. You didn't try to find out anything. You didn't be nice. You didn't make nice. You're not making nice with us. And we just, you know, you're elected, you're going to be up there. My guess is you're not going anywhere, but neither are we. So can you just like answer the questions and just be nice? That's all. That's all. I mean, I have my kids here and they're watching. They're learning from you, and it's not looking really good. So I really feel bad for you because you're put in a really bad position because you really don't know what's going on. You really don't. You don't know what's happened. You didn't come to a meeting. I don't know if you had meetings with Marion and said, hey, what's the deal? What happened for the past 4 years, or how many every year she was in? Did any of you guys, or all of you guys have a meeting with them? I don't know, but you should have. It's not Democrats and Republicans. It's Folcroft.
Good job.
That will obviously, some will stay, some will leave. So, I'm sorry, but I just feel bad for them.
Good job.
And don't get mad at me, but I feel bad for them.
Good job.
I'm done.
Sarah McGuire.
Question about these taxes that came out, why are we sending them to a lot of costs in Maryland if they have the choice to pay in here locally? How will this money get back to Folcroft anymore?
The previous council moved our accounts to M&T Bank, who is now where all our money is held. Marianne, can you explain why they changed the lockbox, or any information on that?
I haven't gotten my tax bill, so this is the first I'm hearing about it. I would assume everything is wired today. It's not like they have to take the money and transport it to Folcroft. If you mail it to a lockbox.
There, I mean, there's no choice to pay it here locally. I mean, before we could go to Wachovia Bank and pay it last year.
Right, and they, M&T decided, I guess they went with a lockbox. The only thing I could think of is like your credit card, you pay it, they wire it to the tax collector.
What if you don't have a credit card? What if you don't?
No. I said the way people pay their credit cards, they just mail their payment and it gets paid, which is the same as your taxes. And I would assume M&T is using, did you say Maryland address?
Yeah, Baltimore, Maryland.
Right, and then the money is just wired into the account, and it's all done
Why
electronically.
don't we have a choice here to pay it here, or to the bank? You know?
I don't know. I don't know why the bank changed it. I would be happy as a tax collector. I don't know. Or maybe Linda can call the bank. I don't know why
We should
M&T
have a
changed it.
choice. I mean, why do we have to send the money to Baltimore, Maryland?
Yeah, he's on.
Could they take it into M&T on just taking one on enough?
I wish that's what they're getting away from.
We had no choice of getting a receipt.
Madam President, I believe, I'm not 100% positive, I believe their corporate headquarters is in Baltimore. And that's probably everything, that's just the mailing address for their corporate headquarters. I'm not 100% positive, but I believe that might help with your answer.
I will send an email to Mr. Olson to see if we can find out if residents that are unable to mail in and want to take their tax payments to the branch on Glen Avenue. I will see if he can find that out for us.
I talked to him, he said that he had nothing to do with this. He doesn't know why it happened.
He said it had nothing to do with it.
He's a tax collector. He said it was the county council made this decision.
County council made the
Or
decision.
not county council, borough council. So it was made by borough council and he was against it.
I will have to talk to him, because it wasn't this council that's up here now that brings that. He didn't know anything about it.
This is the first we're hearing about this. It sounds like the bank needs a policy.
Probably because the local branch doesn't want to have the dealings of all this, so that's why it's going to
No
court.
bank, all it had to be the lockbox and an address.
How do you get a receipt?
I think she's concerned about not getting a receipt.
Receipt, yeah.
Oh, okay.
How do you get receipt?
Is there something in there?
You have to mail the whole thing
Whole
to them.
thing, you don't get no receipt.
It says mail the whole thing.
Cancel the check. I mean, I really don't know, unless we call the bank and find out what's going on, I don't know why
corporate office is in Buffalo, New York. For a record. Buffalo, New York, not Baltimore, Maryland.
Yeah, but all payments are made to Baltimore, Maryland.
I feel left out when you look at my
Any payments for M&T Bank go through Baltimore, Maryland. So if that's our bank, that's why it's going.
I believe that they can still use the bank that they were using, and they will mail it to Berlin. They just have to have a change their address as to where it has to go.
Well, I think the tax.
It's beneficial was another one who took it right out of the elderly, IRA accounts, and whatever they build up for the year, and then they would just mail them directly to wherever they need to go. But now that it's going to a lockbox, some people will not have to leave it open.
That concludes our audience participation. Can we please have roll call? We have roll call. Oh, here.
Mr. Benny. Ms. Foley. Mr. Williams.
Present?
Ms. Rafter. Here. Mrs. French. Here. Mayor Frye.
Here.
At this time, I would like to ask council to make a motion to appoint Mary Patrone as a crossing guard. Mayor Fry, can you please swear in Mary Patrone? Oh, I'm sorry, I gotta do a roll call. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any nays?
Pull if I can. I need to read the rules first. Stand in one spot. Stand in one spot. Yeah, but that's the rules. Are you the council? Yeah, but I have to. I gotta abide by the rules. You should abide by the rules. Take it up at the next meeting. Just don't put your hand in front of my face.
Yeah, man.
Not in the meeting. Then what if I do that? I'll touch my head. Stand in one place like you're supposed
Stay in
to.
one place, Art.
There you go. Stand in one spot.
You're not supposed to move around, according to resolution.
Thank you for telling you that I didn't need a resident to put his hand in front of my camera.
All right, try reading the rules, Art.
Do what you're doing and I'll do what I'm
Try reading the rules.
Thank you. I understand.
Calm down.
I have a question, excuse me.
Think you're fucking special.
Audience participants, we're in the middle of the meeting.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's just like your
Of course.
Okay. Crossing guard.
Oh, well, I was informed that we were gonna get a raise. We wanna know when that's gonna happen, and what the situation is with the hours and the 6th day and the holiday pay.
Mr. Consent is not here tonight, so I don't know what he's come up with. So what I understand, the budget was not approved, therefore whatever is in there will be analyzed tomorrow.
Madam President, I have a question. We haven't received a money received report, which looks like this, for December and January. These are supposed to be voted on with the bids. We also haven't received the treasurer's report for December and January. That's supposed to be voted and submitted in this.
What I understand is what he said he's still working on getting everything into the system, because we transferred over the calls, and he said he would have for us at our meeting.
Okay.
like to make a motion to separate each minutes to be voted on singularly, excuse me.